Hi, welcome to channel Bodhi Speak. We have often heard the saying, faith moves mountains. But what is faith? Faith is a strong belief, your firm thought that emanates from your mind. But how strong can your mind be? Can it be strong enough to overcome physical discomfort like any illness or pain? Does the mind have the power to manipulate the body's physiology? Today I am going to talk about a few real-life cases which shows the power of your mind can work to our advantage or even detriment depending on our grasp of the situation and our ability to control our thoughts. So let's get into it. Tibetan monks have the ability to meditate for hours on end, abstain from food, or keep vow of silence for long periods of time. Most of us know or have heard that these monks have better control over their minds and bodies. But what many medical doctors found astounding was the way some of them could actually control their blood pressure and body temperature. In one experiment, physicians monitored the bodily changes of a group of Tibetan monks who engaged in a meditative yoga technique called Tamo. The monks were covered in wet, cold sheets and placed in a cold room where the temperature was maintained at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius. An average person will experience uncontrollable shivering, which will eventually lead to hypothermia. However, through deep concentration, the monks could generate so much body heat that steam started rising from the sheets, and within an hour, the sheets were completely dry. Although it was fascinating for the doctors to witness this, this was an ordinary occurrence for the monks. The Buddhists claim the heat produced is an outcome of the prowess the monks have attained through meditation. David Seidler, the Oscar-winning writer of the movie The King's Speech, claimed to have eliminated his cancer through meditation and imagination. When Seidler was diagnosed with bladder cancer and was 2 weeks away from a surgery, he decided to employ visualization techniques to overcome the cancer. Whether you can imagine away cancer or any other disease is a hotly debated topic. Seidler was hardly concerned about what the studies said. What he, however, knows is that visualization worked for him. Although the idea of getting rid of cancer through imagination initially sounded a little woo-woo, but Seidler had nothing to lose. So he spent the 2 weeks leading up to the surgery imagining a clean, healthy bladder. When Seidler went for his pre-surgery biopsy, the doctors were shocked to see a distinct lack of cancer. They sent his biopsy to 4 different labs to confirm their findings, and all tests showed that the cancer had indeed vanished without surgery or chemotherapy. While Seidler attributed his recovery to imagination and visualization techniques, his doctor labeled it as a case of spontaneous remission. 87-year-old Indian yogi Prahlad Jani has claimed that he can survive without food or drink. The Indian ascetic lives in a cave near a temple in the state of Gujarat. He says he has not had food or water for more than 70 years. Jani, who claims to have left home at the age of 7 and lived as a wandering monk, is regarded as a breatharian who can live on a spiritual life force alone. The Discovery Channel too aired a documentary featuring Prahlad Jani. Thinking that it was some kind of a fraud, doctors put him to test. For 3 weeks, 30 specialists scientifically studied him and ran numerous tests on him. He was under 24-hour observation in front of cameras, and at no point he took food or water during this period. The neurologist Dr. Sudhir Shah believes that Prahlad Jani's body went through biological transformation as a result of meditation and powerful yoga over the years. It is likely that doctors will want to examine Mr. Jani again to solve the medical mystery he has presented them with. One of the most famous cases of having psychic powers is that of Nina Kulagina, the woman who could move objects with her mind. Born in Leningrad in 1926, Kulagina was unheard of until the mid-1960s, when her powers developed enough for her to become a sensation in the former Soviet Union. In an interview, Kulagina said she realized she had abilities when she noticed that everyday objects would move by themselves whenever she was angry. Kulagina claimed that in order for her psychokinetic powers to have any effect, she required a period of meditation during which her thoughts would clear up. When she felt a sharp pain in her spine and her vision would blur, she knew she was ready. During the Cold War, several silent black and white films emerged and they showed Nina moving objects on a table. The setting of the films suggested that the psychokinesis experiments were done under conditions strictly controlled by the Soviet authorities. During that time, it was reported that as many as 40 scientists, including 2 Nobel laureates, had examined the woman and deemed her psychic powers genuine. Sensors placed on her body showed she had elevated her body temperature and her heartbeat, as well as the intensity of her brain waves and electromagnetic field. Jack Schwartz, a Dutch Jewish writer, lived in horrific conditions while he was forced into a Nazi concentration camp during the World War II. Like so many others in the camp, he was beaten, starved and tortured. Jack began to meditate and later developed the ability to mentally block out the pain. After he was released from captivity, Jack Schwartz continued the practice of mind control. He experimented on his skills by putting a long nail through his arm without injury. He could also regulate the blood flow by causing the puncture hole in the arm to bleed or stop bleeding at will. Schwartz was studied by researchers at the Menninger Foundation who found that he could indeed control many of his bodily processes with only his mind. Furthermore, through an electroencephalograph, they determined his brain had different electrical activity as compared to most other test subjects. According to Schwartz, he could also see people's auras, which allowed him to gauge their physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental conditions. Some researchers think that positivity and thought control can make an impact when you are trying to lose that excess flab. To make a point that mind has a major impact on the body, Harvard psychologist Ellen Langer conducted an experiment on a group of overweight hotel maids. Judging by their daily activity levels, these maids should have been far thinner than they actually were. This was because 67% of the maids believed that they didn't do any type of exercise despite continuous physical activity through long hours of work. As a part of the experiment, half of the maids from this group were told that their physical activity in the hotel far exceeded the medical definition of an active lifestyle. The other half of this group were not fed with this information. A month later, the research team of Langer came back to re-evaluate the maids. They found an overall decrease of weight and waist to hip ratio in the group which was given the information of their physical activity in the hotel. The other group had no physical changes. Langer concluded that since there was no indication of any change in their daily routines, the results were simply due to a change in the mindset. All these 6 examples show us that by exercising control of your mental faculties, one can get amazing results. It is possible to bring in positive changes within yourself and those around you. I really enjoyed researching on this topic and bringing these stories to you. If you too enjoyed listening to them, then you know what you have to do. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. I will see you again in a video like this, and as always, thanks for watching.